Now speaking, Rob Ballou, Vice President, Investor Relations and Corporate Communications. Welcome to Krispy Kreme's first quarter 2023 earnings call. On the call are Mike Tattersfield, President and CEO, Josh Charlesworth, Global President and COO, and Jeremiah Ashukian, CFO. The earnings release and presentation deck are available on the Investor Relations portion of our website at investors.krispykreme.com. This call contains forward-looking statements made pursuant to the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995 and non-GAAP financial measures, with a reconciliation between non-GAAP and GAAP measures available online. Now speaking, Mike Tattersfield, President and Chief Executive Officer. Krispy Kreme reported 14.4% organic revenue growth in the first quarter of 2021 due to successful global campaigns for Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day. 80% of donuts are bought to be shared with others, and nearly 40% are bought for special events and celebrations, up from 10% a few years ago. The delivered fresh daily (DFD) business has seen impressive growth, leading to the decision to exit the startup CPG business, branded sweet treats. Krispy Kreme has 400 producing donut hubs worldwide and is on track to reach 75,000 points of access by growing global points of access by 10 to 15% per year. E-commerce revenue increased 23% year-over-year in the first quarter, making it their strongest quarter yet for e-commerce. In 2021, Krispy Kreme plans to open new franchise partners in Chile, Switzerland, Costa Rica, and Jamaica, plus 3 to 5 new development agreements for additional countries to open in 2024. Through donations, community fundraising, and local giving, they have positively impacted the world during the first quarter. The company remains on track to achieve $2.15 billion in revenue and $315 million in adjusted EBITDA by 2026. Now speaking, Josh Charlesworth, Global President, Chief Operating Officer. We have made great progress in the past few months with our fresh daily hub and spoke operating model. In the U.S., this has led to 16% organic growth and EBITDA margins above 15%. Our upgrades to web and app and expansion of delivery zones has enabled us to generate over 22% of retail sales via e-commerce in the first quarter. We have also added 350 doors across the U.S., including at Walmart and Publix, resulting in average weekly sales up 35% from 2 years ago to nearly $650. Our 137 production hubs have seen year-over-year margin growth in the first quarter, and our U.S. shop network optimization program has already closed 29 shops and seen a 180 basis point margin improvement year-over-year. We are introducing kiosks and new equipment in drive-thrus, and expanded our DFD listings to Walgreens, Costco and McDonald's. We have seen success internationally as well, with organic growth above 35% in Canada and Japan, and over 160 DFD doors in Japan. We expect these efforts to generate $60 million in revenue for Japan in 2023 at a more than 15% adjusted EBITDA margin. Now speaking, Jeremiah Ashukian, Chief Financial Officer. In the first quarter of 2021, we saw a 9% increase in sales per hub in the U.S. to $4.6 million in record e-commerce revenue. We successfully took pricing to offset significant inflation, and outside of the U.S. our international franchise segment is seeing strong performance. Net revenue was up 12.5% year-over-year to $419 million and organic revenue grew 14.4%. Adjusted EBITDA grew 12.3% to $55 million and adjusted EPS increased 13% or 25% in constant currency. The U.S. segment total revenue increased 14% to $281 million and adjusted EBITDA for the U.S. segment in the first quarter increased 19% to $39 million with margins increasing 60 basis points year-over-year. International organic revenue growth was 7.3%, market development organic growth accelerated at 36%, and total revenues increased 27% to $47.3 million. We are on track to reduce vendor financing by $45 million, and we are reaffirming our 2023 guidance of 9 to 11% organic revenue growth, 8 to 10% net revenue growth, $205 to $215 million in adjusted EBITDA, and 31 cents to 0.34 in adjusted EPS. J.P. Morgan Chase & Company analyst John Ivanko inquired, "Are you honing in on evaluating profitability per DFD account, particularly in the U.S.? Could reducing some of the risk and having a more predictable profitability of each DFD account be a possibility for you going forward?" Mike Tattersfield replied, "John is discussing McDonald's demand planning piece and how it relates to our company. We have experience in this type of consumer-centric process in other markets, but the uniqueness lies in the drop we are doing today, where we have our own route system or can do a center drop with another logistics team. We look for opportunities like this from customers and believe that it is a viable option. Josh Charlesworth replied, DFD account profitability has significantly improved over the last couple of years. Selling donuts at a close price point has impacted profitability, which is also affected by delivery speed and product sophistication. Mike mentioned a logistics company in earlier remarks, and a Kentucky test showed doubling production completely changed the context. Walmart continues to grow. Both pre-packed donuts and premium merchandising units are being added with Target, leading to consistent profitability across DFD customers. J.P. Morgan Chase & Company analyst John Ivanko inquired, has the McDonald's market rollout for 7-day-a-week delivery of perishable products been successful so far? Mike Tattersfield replied, we deliver fresh daily and adjust to the needs of QSRs, quick service restaurants, like McDonald's. This is done by looking at what they need for their customer base. Truist Securities analyst Bill Chappell inquired, have you considered other options, such as licensing or selling the business, for the discontinued sweet treats line, or is the focus on fresh products and avoiding association with multi-day-old products? What opportunities would you consider to extend the brand beyond fresh products? Mike Tattersfield replied, I have seen significant growth in the U.S., international markets and market development, including insomnia. For Krispy Kreme, the fresh business has grown significantly, leading to a decision on where to allocate resources and capital to improve the experience in logistics. The brand is translating well into this category, so we are focusing our energy on fresh. Truist Securities analyst Bill Chappell inquired, have you discussed the opportunities of expanding to Target stores, and what is the thought process behind testing this in a place with a different customer mix than grocery or club stores? Josh Charlesworth replied, Krispy Kreme recently conducted a test in Dallas, Texas, with 20 store Targets. They showcased their prepackaged range and introduced premium units with both loose and prepackaged donuts. The test has been successful, resulting in 5 locations offering the premium units and higher sales per door. Additionally, they have discussed expanding the prepacked donuts to the Chicago market. C.L. King and Associates analyst Andrew Wolf inquired, can you compare and contrast the sales and profit performance of the U.S. market to major international markets, such as the UK and Australia? What is the outlook in these countries in terms of same-store units? Josh Charlesworth replied, I have reported international sales growth from Japan and Canada with over 35%, Australia delivering low double-digit performance, and the UK mid-single digits. Pricing, DFD points of access, and new channels are key drivers of this growth. In particular, Costco in Canada and the UK have been successful. The UK has seen retail business in double digits despite economic challenges. DFD door performance still has room to grow, particularly in the US. Jeremiah Ashukian replied, international margins are slightly accretive to the US, with an expected 20+% over the medium to longer term. There are current challenges, but teams are focused on driving efficiencies and taking mid to high single-digit pricing in Q1 and high single-digit pricing in Q2. In Australia, there are cost-growing pains due to launching into DFD and Woolworths, which is impacting demand and supply planning models. C.L. King and Associates analyst Andrew Wolf inquired, is the decrease in profitability due to rapid cost inflation rather than a lack of price realization or store productivity? And can higher pricing lead to higher profitability given that the velocity does not seem to be an issue? Jeremiah Ashukian replied, we were behind in international markets in terms of pricing, but are catching up. We expect the improvements to be seen in the back half of the year. Bank of America Merrill Lynch analyst Sarah Sartori inquired, are you seeing any differences in sales per door as you add new kinds of doors? Are there insights that can be shared about the different differences in terms of the types of end customer, use cases, and number of doors per capita? Is there evidence that DFD doors are not cannibalizing sales from McDonald's tests? Josh Charlesworth replied, Sarah, DFD has experienced positive weekly sales trends due to momentum, pricing, and the success of specialty donuts. These premium-priced items have seen record performance when available for a few weeks leading up to occasions such as Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day. Furthermore, the new doors are performing at least as well as existing doors, suggesting expansion to new customers and channels. DFD does not see cannibalization even with 6,000 doors in the US and a more mature market like the UK. The strategy is to make donuts more convenient and accessible, with a goal of 3 times availability per year. Mike Tattersfield replied, we've seen an increase in sales of up to 2 times when we provide customers with a full assortment cabinet. This allows them to have a broader selection at Krispy Kreme by being able to see donuts and create their own combinations. Bank of America Merrill Lynch analyst Sarah Sartori inquired, I was asked a question by Brian Harbour of Morgan Stanley on _date. Morgan Stanley analyst Brian Harbour inquired, have the efforts to promote online ordering and delivery led to an increase in e-commerce for the Krispy Kreme brand over the past year? Josh Charlesworth replied, e-commerce has seen strong growth for Krispy Kreme and Insomnia in recent times. Improvements have been made to the web and app experience to increase the conversion rate from customers going on the site or app to making a purchase. Dark shops have been added to the system to help delivery areas. Pre-ordering has been improved to ensure donuts are available for big events, such as Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day. Loyalty program relaunch is planned for early 2021 to make it more intuitive. Current U.S. loyalty members total 11 million. Last quarter saw more than 20% growth in e-commerce in the U.S. Morgan Stanley analyst Brian Harbour inquired, have there been any changes in labor cost and input cost inflation since you provided comments on it previously? Do you have any plans for pricing in the U.S. in the near future? Jeremiah Ashukian replied, I have locked in low double-digit inflation for key commodities like sugar, wheat and edible oils for this year, with higher increases in the first half of the year. I am also looking at 2024 commodity outlooks, and have taken additional pricing in markets such as Mexico, the UK and the US. I plan to take more pricing in Australia and Insomnia in Q2, and will focus on premium specialty. Josh Charlesworth replied, we have been taking a lower double-digit pricing on direct-to-food service, DFD, and low single-digit pricing on retail. Recently, we increased the frequency of this to make sure our prices are consistent across all channels, which is one of our strategic goals. Evercore IC analyst David Palmer inquired, have I estimated correctly that the doubling of sales of these hubs would result in an additional $200 per day per McDonald's and Krispy Kreme sales, which is about 2% of McDonald's total sales? If so, what do you think McDonald's would think of this given their investment in the incremental sales? Josh Charlesworth replied, in the past 6 weeks, we have focused on 3 production hubs across Kentucky to increase production and support. We have also added an additional hub without spokes in the area. Our partnership with McDonald's has been successful in making sure donuts are supplied at the correct time and level, and that they are advising us on how many donuts to provide rather than us guessing. We value the partnership and focus on what we can control. Evercore IC analyst David Palmer inquired, if this partnership is successful, what are the next steps? If it were to go national, how many McDonald's would be within reach of Krispy Kreme hubs today? Josh Charlesworth replied, we are currently testing our donuts with McDonald's and expect to be doing this for months. We have 6,000 points of access today and think we can add 50% more without needing additional production. To fulfill the 15,000 point of access opportunity in the U.S., as mentioned at an investor day, we would need approximately 30 to 40 additional hubs. Citi analyst John Tower inquired, have you considered expanding your trial with McDonald's beyond the U.S. QSR market and into international markets? Are you planning to wait until the end of the test or trial period with McDonald's before looking at other QSR operators? Mike Tattersfield replied, we are partnering with McDonald's in a test to explore what we can deliver to the QSR space. We have learned a lot from McDonald's and plan to continue learning from each other while focusing on this partnership. Citi analyst John Tower inquired, I heard that 40% of the business comes from special events. What strategies are in place to increase sales outside of these special events, like expanding points of access or existing hubs, and how does this impact sales per box? Mike Tattersfield replied, Krispy Kreme's product is purchased by customers 40% of the time and gifted the other 60%. The company is currently trying to premiumize their brand through access, such as Biscoff, and e-commerce growth. This will create a total donut experience that customers can access when they want it. Mike Tattersfield replied, this quarter, I am thankful for all those who have listened to my story and the Krispy Kremers around the world who make it happen every day. I look forward to seeing you next quarter.